everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather and I just want to say happy Canada Day to all my fellow Canadians, and in a couple days it will be happy Independence Day to Americans. Because it is Canada Day, I am going to be making Nanaimo bars. I have a whole bunch of other Canadian foods I want to make, but I'm going to start with the Nanaimo bars. So it's got the 3 layers, so I've just got my little paper in front of me because I do know the recipe, but I just sometimes, if I don't have it right in front of me, if I don't read it off, I might miss something or say the wrong measurements. So my first layer is half a cup of melted butter, cooled down to room temperature, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 2 cups of graham baking crumbs or graham wafers crushed, 1 cup of flaked coconut, and half a cup of chopped walnut. Now this recipe also asks for 1 egg, which I did write down, but then I realized this is a no-bake one, so I'm not going to add the egg. I might increase the oil a little, or the butter, so I might add a little bit of oil to it if I think I need that. Then the second layer is 2 cups of icing sugar, a 1/4 cup of butter, a 1/4 cup of your heavy cream or milk, and 2 tablespoons of custard powder, which I don't have at the moment, but I'm going to be using cornstarch. It's a good substitute. And then of course the third layer is just 3 ounces of chocolate and a 1/4 cup of butter. So I'm just going to start by making my first layer. Oh, and you need a 9x9 dish. This is actually 8x8, 8x8, 9x9. They work about the same. So I've got my bowl here. I'm just going to move my camera down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So my first thing is I need my half a cup of melted butter cooled to room temperature. This is the first recipe where I actually seen that actually listed as melted butter. Make sure you cool the butter to room temperature. So maybe that's why some of my recipes don't always work. So brown sugar, just going to take that out. 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of cocoa, 2 cups of the graham wafer crumbs. Now I have chocolate ones and I also have the Oreo ones, so I'm going to try to see if I can get 2 cups out of here. I don't know if I have 2 cups left in this bag, which is why I've got the other box sitting beside me. I know it kind of defeats the purpose of using chocolate crumbs if I've already added the cocoa. Yeah, oops, I'm going to be short by almost half a cup. So I didn't think I quite had enough. I should have measured before I started my video, so I was measuring a few other things. But that's why I grabbed this one. It's going to be a little bit, so my crust is going to have a couple different, you know, like that versus this is the Oreo. It's a little different than the graham, but I'm out of the graham wafers. I usually have the graham wafer cookies too for the little ones down on my day home for teething and stuff. I don't seem to have any at the moment, so I figured I guess a little bit of the Oreo baking crumbs will kind of have to work because that's what I have today. So just kind of use what you have. I gotta mix this in good, and then I need 1 cup of my coconut. I'm just gonna snip this bag because it's opened and split funny. So I'm just gonna snip this down. Otherwise I'm going to get coconut all over my counter and none in the measuring cup. And then half a cup of chopped walnuts. Now I've got my walnut pieces. I'm just going to measure out about half a cup. And I'm just going to pour these into my little grinder here. I should have only done half at a time, but sometimes you're baking and you just kind of get impatient and you just want to get things done. Yeah, see, if I would have done half at a time, then they wouldn't all get stuck under the blade. I've got my coffee grinder, and then this is just another small little coffee grinder. I only use this one to grind nuts and maybe a few spices occasionally, but mostly just nuts. And just mix this up. And then it says to press this into your pan, because it says 9 by 9, but I just have the 8 by 8. And it says ungreased. Just press this into a nice even layer. And then we have to chill this for 30 minutes. So I'm just gonna put this in. Like I said, I know it says chill in the fridge for 30 minutes. Well, I usually find what works is if I just stick it in the freezer and then I will start my second layer. So I'm just gonna press this down and put this in the freezer, and I'll be back to start the second layer. All right, so I've got everything ready for step 2. So the first thing we need is 2 cups of icing sugar. Should just grab a spoon and lift this out, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll grab the little measuring spoons. I just filled my icing sugar up, so my icing sugar is kind of packed down. Okay, so there's 2 cups of icing sugar. A 1/4 cup of my butter softened. A 1/4 cup of cream. I'm using the 35% whipping cream. I think it says or milk, so milk would work, or any, I believe any type of milk substitute should work just as good. And you're only using a 1/4 cup, so I don't think it's gonna make that much difference, but I like the whipping cream. Just makes it extra fluffy when you whip this all up. And then it does say 2 tablespoons of your custard powder, which I don't have, so I'm just going to use my cornstarch. So 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And this is where it gets a little bit different. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Now I know the custard is yellow, and that's where the yellow coloring comes from when you make your Nanaimo squares, to get that yellow thing, and of course the vanilla flavor. So because I'm kind of changing the recipe just a bit, because I'm just substituting, I'm going to pour in a little bit of vanilla, and I'm going to mix in a couple drops of yellow food coloring. I'm just going to do 3 drops now, and then I'll add a little bit more if I think it needs more yellow. But the butter is yellow too, so I'm hoping that this will work okay. Now, see, it's got a nice yellow color already. I'm using my KitchenAid stand mixer bowl, so I've got this right in the center. It's got that little spot. It just makes it really hard to stir. I know it makes it easier for the mixer to mix the stuff, but it makes it harder for me to stir, because then my spoon gets caught around there. What's that? Stuck. I'm just going to scrape this down. Just going to get this a good, just scrape down with the spatula. That looks really good. I'm just going to add a few more drops of the yellow food coloring, just trying to make it a little more yellow. I think there's like 9 or 10 more drops. There, I've got a much nicer yellow now. There, that looks like the right color. That looks like custard yellow now. I think I might just add a couple more drops of yellow. Although it says if I really want a good yellow, to add 1 drop. It says 19 drops of yellow, so I think it was at 13, so 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 drops of yellow and 1 drop of red. I like these little charts at the back of the food coloring. They kind of tell you how to get better colors. So I really want a bright yellow. So 1 drop of red is supposed to help me get a brighter yellow. So we'll see. That went yellow, or I mean that went red. I don't know, it's supposed to. I'm also going to say I am partially colorblind, so there's 18 drops of yellow. And 2 drops of red will give me orange. So I only put in 1 red. I think I might just do another 2 drops of yellow, just because I kind of not quite sure how many I really had in there. But let's see if I do 2 more yellow, if I'm going to get a better yellow. I don't know, I think I may have had a better yellow before I added that 1 drop of red. Ready to get, I'm going to, wait, right, I gotta make it light and fluffy. That's light and fluffy. So now I'll be just pouring this back on the crust. So I will just gotta go get the crust out of the freezer. It's been in the freezer for probably, what time is it? Probably been in the freezer for about 15, 18 minutes. So I will go and get the crust, pour this on the crust, and I will be right back. Okay, so you're supposed to mix well until everything is smooth and fluffy. So I thought I would just grab out my little hand mixer here and just kind of give a few minutes of this. And that has actually really changed how much volume I've got, especially since I was using the heavy whipping cream. I think I like the consistency of that bit better. It's a little more fluffy, a little bit, I think, mixed a bit better together. So now I've got my crust here, because it was in the freezer for probably close to 20 minutes. It said 30 minutes in the fridge. Sometimes I like to put things in the freezer. It just speeds the process up. I'm just wiping, just making sure this is all level. Just a little bit of, I don't know, condensation from it sitting on the counter for a couple minutes. I just don't want any liquid to drip in here and wreck my filling. So I'm just wiping the side of the inside of the pan off. I'm just going to pour this on. Do a nice even coat. Just make sure I get all into the corners and well coated. Now I'm just going to put this in the fridge while I make the filling. I'm just going to spread this out, put this in the fridge, and I will be back in a moment when I'm ready to make the, well, I guess it's not the filling, this is the filling. I'll be back in a moment to make the topping. All right, so for the final layer, we need a 1/4 cup of butter and 3 ounces of chocolate. So I got my kitchen scale here. I put the bowl on, I made it go down to 0. So I've got 3.2 ounces of chocolate. This seems to be the lowest I can go. If I try to take some out, I go down a little bit. So I'm at about 3 ounces of chocolate. I'm actually using this 85% dark chocolate. I got this huge chocolate bar here. I've had it for, I don't know, I think it's been in the pantry. I use it for lots of baking. I love these big chocolate bars like this. You get a lot of baking on these, and they work just as good as the baker's chocolate. So, and the price, these are usually a little bit, I don't know, sometimes the baker's chocolates are on sale. It really depends. Sometimes you get these bigger bars on sale. I also just buy the regular 100-gram family bars at Walmart for around $1 each. So this is what I'm using today because this one was already open. It's almost used up. But so 3 ounces of chocolate and a 1/4 cup of butter. And I've got these in a microwavable dish. I would usually prefer to do it on over the double boiler. My pots are just being used at the moment, so I'm just going to use the microwave. I know I should have used the little spatula, but I just can't reach it right now. So I'm just going to melt this until it's, I'm just going to put this in the microwave at 30-second intervals until it's fully melted, and I'll let you know how many minutes. It'd probably take about 2 minutes to melt that. So I'll be back when I get this melted and I'm ready to pour on top of the Nanaimo bars. All right, so this was 30 seconds in my microwave. The chocolate, I just want to give it a little stir. So I think the butter has melted and it's just making the chocolate melt really fast. I don't even think I need to put it in any longer. I think if I just wait, the heat from the butter is just going to make the rest of the chocolate just melt because it's going so fast. I always love this process when dealing with making anything with chocolate, just watching the chocolate melt. That's why I said I prefer the the double boiler on the stove or in the slow cooker. Watching chocolate melt in the slow cooker is really fun too. I don't always like the microwave. I usually find with the microwave I tend to burn. If you get any water, especially the melting wafers, one drop of water on melting wafers and you can burn the chocolate. I will say I didn't know that. I've had so many years of experience in trying to figure out what I did wrong, because I'm one of those people who in between things I always wash, you know, if I'm stirring, then I'll put the stuff back in the microwave and then I'll wash my whatever spoon or spatula, and then it's wet and then I stir it, and then that couple little drops, because I didn't dry the spoon off, really just, you know, wrecks all your chocolate and it's burned, or it makes it hard and it doesn't want to melt. So I said that's one reason why I prefer using like chocolate bars, is they've already been, basically, you know, most chocolate bars, if you buy them, they've already been tempered, they've already been a lot of those steps, and so you can easily melt them in the microwave. A little drop of water is not going to wreck them. You know, if your bowl's not perfectly dry, if your spoon's not perfectly dry and you're stirring, or your hands are wet, anything like that, it's not going to wreck. Versus the melting wafers. It also depends on the brand of melting wafers, because I've not had a problem with the Wilton. It was the other brand I bought from another store, and I don't remember the brand. I just know they were not Wilton. But see, look at that. It's already melted. Just 30 seconds in the microwave. The butter melted, and now the chocolate melted. So I'm just going to grab the Nanaimo bars out of the fridge. This, and just pour this on top. And I've got my Nanaimo bars all ready. And if I need to melt more chocolate, I'll just melt more chocolate, because it doesn't seem to want to spread over top. Oh, there we go. Sometimes if it's hard to get to go into the corners, then I'm just gonna tip it around so then it fills up and it covers all the custard. And there we go. I got nice Nanaimo squares. I mean, I could always make more chocolate if I didn't think that was a good enough layer of chocolate, but I think that is good. So now I'm just gonna put this in the freezer. Little baby fluff. So I'm just gonna go and put this in the freezer, and I'll be back when I'm ready to slice and you can see what it looks like. Alright, so my Nanaimo bars have been sitting in the freezer for about 10 more minutes. So now time to just cut into here and see how they look. I like how it's cutting. It's cutting really good, really even. So I think I'll probably cut this into about 16 pieces. I gotta grab a spoon to get under there. Getting out the first piece is always the hardest. There we go. It stayed intact. A nice piece of Nanaimo bar. Get this because a little bit of the crust just kind of got stuck in the corner. There we go, that's the bottom. Okay, so the first piece is always the hardest one to pull out. Camera doesn't want to stay straight up. Okay. Try this. I definitely have to say, this will probably be the best Nanaimo squares I've ever made. It's been a while since I've made them. But this will be definitely a recipe I'm going to make from now on every time I make my Nanaimo squares. And of course I've got my coffee, so I'm going to have my coffee and my Nanaimo square. So again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's subscribed to my channel, watching my videos. Happy Canada Day, happy Independence Day, and I'll see you all in my next videos. Bye.